Well, I'll tell you my least favorite shot. The one that gets me every time I see it. You gotta have Dutch tilt. I don't know where you put it. You gotta have a Dutch tilt shot. When the little Stonehenge comes down, and we're for the first time we're seeing the result of a mismarked plan that Nigel comes up and he says 18 inches by 18 inches. We see this little thing come down. That to me, it got me. That to me got me in a big way.
This is what you asked for, isn't it?
What?
Well, this is the piece.
This is the piece?
Yes.
Are you telling me that this is it? This is scenery? Have you ever been to Stonehenge?
They don't know what the joke's going to be. That's what's interesting. In the first one, I only had one camera, and it was a 16 millimeter film camera. But basically, what I say to the operators, I said, use your instinct. And I many times in the first one, I would be behind him like a dolly grip, and I talk to him in his ear, go over here, look it over here, and you just try to follow the dialogue as to what's going on. And we'd do the scene maybe 2 or 3 times, and many times they wouldn't say the same things. We'd do it 2 times. The third time, I'd say to them, the minute somebody starts to talk, go off them and go only to people who are not talking. And that way, I take the dialogue from all three takes and mash it together so that it makes sense as a conversation. And then you can put any visual that you want to it. The actors are improvising and the camera people are improvising. That's the way it comes out as natural as possible.
I do not, for one, think that the problem was that the band was down. I think that the problem may have been that there was a Stonehenge monument on the stage that was in danger of being crushed by a dwarf. All right? That tended to understate the hugeness of the object.
I really think you're just making a much too big a thing out of it.
Making a big thing out of it would have been a good idea.
Well, I'll tell you my least favorite shot. The one that gets me every time I see it. There's a shot where Robin Wright is on a horse and she's galloping over this bridge. And we're shooting and there's backlight, there's sun back there. And there's a flare in the camera. And it really bothers me. To this day, it bothers me because you become aware that it's being filmed. I mean, we're trying to put people in the days of yore and, in the fairy tale land and not think that it's being photographed. And I'm like that with mostly everything. I don't want to call attention to the camera work, to the acting, to the writing, to the music. I want it to all be like, one, blended thing so that the audience is not taken out of it and they can watch it. That shot always bothers me. And When Harry Met Sally, there's one shot that looks like nothing. It looks like nothing. And it's, to me, one of the most difficult things I've ever done with 4 actors.
Yours.
Hello. I'm sorry to call so early.
Are you all right?
No one I know would call at this hour.
I did something terrible.
What did you do?
No one I know would call at this
It's
hour.
so awful.
I need to talk.
What happened?
What's the matter?
Harry came over last
I went
night.
over to Sally's last night.
Because I was upset that Joe was getting
And
married.
one thing led to another.
And before I knew it, we were kissing,
To make
and
a long
then
story short,
we did it.
They did it.
You see all 4 actors on screen at the same time. You've got Billy Crystal talking to Bruno Kirby, and you got Meg Ryan talking to Carrie Fisher. Carrie and Bruno were in bed together. Billy is in one location, Meg is in another location, and they're talking to each other. The camera never moves. I had to rig the phone system because sometimes their cues were not what they were hearing from the guy they were on the phone with. Their cue would be from something that was being said on the other conversation, but it was all intertwined like a fugue for tin horns. It just kept going. I had one shot, no cuts, and the scene was like 4 pages long. And if anybody blew a line, no good. You had to start all over again. And we did 60 takes. We did 60, 61 takes because If somebody blew a line, you had to start over again. And one we had around 50 something, and it was perfect. And because it's also when they finished, hang up, hang up, hang up, hang up. I mean, it was done like a piece of music, and we got it perfect. And then the two of them would go away, and then it would be Bruno and Carrie in the bed, and Bruno blew a line, the last line. So we have to start over again. And finally, we got it, and it looks like nothing. It looks like, just people talking.
Right.
That to
And
me
it's-
is a cool shot.
And it's the 61st take that's in the movie?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of great shots in Misery. I had to learn the grammar of thrillers. I mean, I'd never made a thriller, and I haven't made one since. But so I studied every Hitchcock film and every the film noir kind of film that I could get my hands on. And there's a shot where you see the flash of light on her face. And that shot gets me. I love that shot because all of a sudden it's horror and it lights up her face. And I love that. And then there's another shot that it's not my favorite shot, but I love that it's in the movie, is there's a Dutch tilt shot of her coming down the stairs. And I always said, I said, you got to have a Dutch tilt. I don't know where you put it. You got to have a Dutch tilt shot. In The Third Man, you see the whole movie's Dutch tilt. So I felt I had to have that. Another thing that I liked was we had a scene where Paul Sheldon is writing this book, this new book, It was all in that one room. So we had to find something to make it interesting. And Barry Sonnenfeld and I came up with this idea that the camera, it was on a track and it would just move slowly around the room. And as it moved from one place to another, his wardrobe would change, the lighting would change, there'd be thunder, and it just kept changing. And that to me was pretty cool. I have to find my way into the movie and what connects with me. And Misery was about the fact that I had been in a TV series and I was a, household name in a TV series, and they wanted me to keep doing that character, and I wanted to do something else, and I related to the character in Misery. There was a movie called Rope that Hitchcock did. The idea behind that film is that it's one shot. It's a 90-minute movie, whatever, and it's one shot. Now, you only have 10 minutes of film, so you can't have one shot. You have to break it up. But what he did was he'd have the camera moving, go behind something black, and that's where he changed the film, and then he'd go back. And so when it came out of it, it looked like it was one shot, but he had, put in a new reel of film. In A Few Good Men, I had that where I wanted to show from one courtroom scene to the next. And I remember I went behind a pillar. There were people, and then I go behind a pillar, and when you come out of the other side of the pillar, a new witness is on the stand, and the light changes. And that was cool for me.